Hi, and welcome to Meeples on Meeples, episode 87. I'm Brian, and this week we're going to be reviewing Onirim, a small box card game that plays either solo or co op with two players. So let's quick go to the rules, see how it plays, what the components look like, check it out, and we'll come back with my thoughts afterwards. Onirim is a game that can be played solo or co-op and basically consists of a deck of cards. Your goal is that you need to find all of the door cards to escape some labyrinth or whatever. So there's three types of cards in the game. There's the mentioned door cards. There's 8 of them that you need to find, 2 of each color. So there's 2 brown, 2 green, 2 blue, 2 red. The next type of card is the nightmare card. When these come up, bad things happen. You have to discard cards, do things that are going to make you burn through the deck faster, and once the deck runs out, if you haven't won, you lose the game. And then the third type of card would be your room cards, and they come in, again, 4 colors. There's the green, the red, that brown, and a blue, and they have one of 3 symbols, moons, suns, or there's also a key symbol on them. To begin the game, you start with a hand of 5 cards. So you draw 5 cards. Okay, so I'm going to start with a brown sun, a blue sun. Oh, can't have a door, so that would go over off to the side here to be shuffled back in. Another blue sun. A red moon. A green sun. There you go. So this one gets shuffled back in, and I'm going to mention that in the review further, how much shuffling this game requires. So you would shuffle that back into the deck, and then it's time to play my cards. On your turn, you have just a couple of options. You can play a card from your hand, or you can discard a card to draw a new card. So I'm going to start, I have a couple of these blue suns, so I'm going to play a blue sun. Now, in order to unlock the doors, you need to play 3 of the same color in a row, but there's one exception. I can't play this blue next, because you can't play a sun on a sun. You can't have 2 of the same symbols repeat. I'd have to play another blue, key, or moon in between that before I can make 3 of a kind. So you play a card, then you draw up. If it's a door, and you have the key that matches it, if I had the green key, I could get this door and unlock it, but I don't. So it goes into the shuffle back in pile. Draw again. Ooh, if it's a nightmare, I have to get rid of the nightmare card. So I can either discard a key to get rid of it. I have no key symbols. I can discard my whole hand to get rid of it, or I can discard the top 5 cards of the deck to get rid of it. It's early in the game, there's a full deck, and I don't have much here, so I could do this to get rid of that. It goes into the discard pile. Now I get 5 new cards. A red key, green sun, green moon, another green sun, a lot of green. Oh, can't have a door. Can't have a door. These need to be shuffled a little bit, I'm beginning to leave. And there's my next hand. So I would have to then take these that I couldn't have. They would get shuffled back into the deck. I'm not going to bother doing that right now. I have to play again. Well, I was going for blue. I have no blue, but I've got a lot of green. I can't play a sun on a sun, but I can play this moon here. And then I would draw to replace it. I can now play this green sun on top of the green moon. All right. I would draw to replace it. And now I can play another moon because it is not a repeat. I have 3 green in a row, so guess what I get to do? I get to go through the deck of cards. So I find the green door. I've now unlocked one of the doors. So again, there's 2 ways to unlock the doors. There's that, or if you draw off the deck and you happen to have the corresponding key card. Let me cheat and go through the deck real quick here. Let's say that I drew that, and in my hand I happen to have this card. I don't have to play 3 of a kind. I can just go, oh, I'm going to unlock that door, put it in the discard pile. I get one that way. And again, the last type of card was the nightmare. I can either discard my whole hand, discard the top 5. Now, when I discard for my turn, normally I just discard and I draw a new card. If I discard a key card, since there are fewer keys, and since they're useful for locking doors, discarding a key card gets you a bonus. If I discard this on my turn, I don't just draw a new one. It actually gives me a special ability where I draw the top 5 cards of the deck. I get to look at those. I get to discard any one I want. So I might, if there's a nightmare, I could discard that and get rid of a nightmare out of the deck. So I get to discard one. I have to discard one. There's 2 brown suns here. Let's get rid of that. Oops. So then I take these 4 and I decide what order I want them in. So for instance, let's say I had a green key in my hand, I'd want to put that on top right there, and then they go back on top of the deck. And I would draw out my 5 cards, and there you go. So you always have 5 cards in your hand, and you're trying to get 3 in a row without repeating the symbol twice. Till you have all 8 doors, then you win the game. So there's the gist of how Onirim plays. You'll play out your cards, and they remain in play, by the way. You have a whole string of cards in front of you with your unlocked doors up above here until you either get all 8 doors, or you run out of cards you can no longer draw and the game ends. It's harder than it sounds. A couple things to note that I did not mention is the second edition, the one available at retail right now, comes with 7 expansions that each range from 7 to 12 cards. So we're talking another pile of cards that can, literally double the size of the deck, and you can play without them. You can add one at a time. You can mix them all in. They're made to work together. And then, of course, also to mention that it does play co-op, and the 2-player game does alter the rules and play slightly differently, but we're just going to kind of focus on the main aspect and the components in this review. Let's talk likes and dislikes. Likes and dislikes. So, things I like. It plays quickly. It's small and compact. The artwork is kind of surreal and cool. The symbols are all very easy to read and understand. So there's quite a bit to like here. I'll be honest, I'm not a big solo gamer. In fact, besides vanilla solitaire with a deck of cards, this is the first game I've ever played solo. And I did enjoy it, but it's not usually something I would focus on. The co-op would probably be more my cup of tea. And then another dislike is the cards. While the artwork is good, the black border spells potential problems in the future, because as people play card games know, a white border is a little bit better because this gets nicked up. The black, I don't know, but the paint, the colors still wear off, and they tend to show wear and tear a little more. So white borders might have been nice, especially since there's my next dislike, so much shuffling. You're drawing back up to your 5 cards after you've discarded your hand for a nightmare or something, and if there's a door or a nightmare in there, you set it off to the side until you have your 5 cards. Okay, you got to put them in. You got to shuffle. You unlock a door, so you have to go through the deck to find the door. You find the door, you got to reshuffle the deck now, because if you look through the deck, you spend way too much time shuffling these cards, and again, with that black border, that could be a potential problem. Overall, the good outweighs the bad, but just be aware of those couple of things. Next up is strategy. As far as strategy goes, really, it's just kind of watch your cards. For instance, I played one game where I got both green doors really fast. Well, the green cards are kind of useless after that. So with strategies, if anytime I wanted to discard a card to try to get better cards in my hand, green was the way to go, discard green. If a nightmare came up and I had a green key, I knew a door wasn't coming my way, so I didn't need that green key anymore. I could use that to get rid of the nightmare. So, the color is really important in this. The next thing is, be really careful when playing that you don't repeat the symbol in front of it. It sounds easier than it is, but the first couple of games you may forget that. But otherwise, there's, not a ton of strategies. Just know when to play your key cards. You really got to manage those, because there are less keys than suns and moons of each color. So if I have, let's say, a moon, a sun, and a key, and I had 3 greens, I can unlock a door, I'd probably want to play the key last, just in case the green door came up sooner. I could use the key to unlock the door or whatever. Hold on to your key cards as long as you can until you absolutely need them. But yeah, there's a little bit of luck with the shuffling and everything. Otherwise, I can't think of a whole lot to add to strategies. So, final thoughts. We review our games on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is terrible, do not play. 5 is, it's okay, I wouldn't suggest it personally, but I could maybe play it. It's not broken by any means. And a 10 is excellent, must buy, you have to have it. I would have to go a 7 on this for a couple of reasons. Okay, the good is, like I said, it's good component quality, lots of expansions and replayability. It's fairly inexpensive, it's portable. It's co-op. I always enjoy co-op games. So there's a lot to like there. The artwork's kind of cool and unique, and again, that surreal, kind of trippy, weird sort of way. So there's a lot to like there. Now, why it's just a 7? Where's it losing the points? I'm not much of a solo player, like I mentioned earlier. To get out a game, to set it up, play it, tear it down, blah blah blah, just to do it alone. Not really my cup of tea. When I can just go play video games, watch a movie, whatever, without all the setup and all those other problems and hassle. However, luckily, this one is a deck of cards, and the setup is really fast and really simple. The tear down is pretty much just put the cards together, throw them in the box, and you're done. So there's that. That's nice. Again, the card quality, considering it is just a bunch of cards, I would expect a little bit better quality. And the box is so nice, you don't want to throw away the insert. So while I usually sleeve everything, I can't really sleeve these and get it back in the box to protect them. So that's kind of a bummer as well. But luckily, again, with the expansions and all of that, it gets you a lot of bang for your buck. And luckily, there is a co-op mode, so you can play it with someone else. So there you have it. It's kind of a neat puzzly sort of game. If this sounds like your cup of tea, check it out. And then it should be mentioned that this is one in kind of a trilogy of games set in the same universe that all play solo. So if you really enjoy this, hey, you might find out that there's a couple more games you want to add to your collection. And it's small. The box is like this big. It's not like it takes up a whole lot of shelf space. So Onirim, interesting, fun solo game. I actually enjoyed it. A decent co-op game as well. And it's, I would say, worth having in your collection. I'm thinking about adding the other two myself.